Let's say we wake up, shall we? Shall we wake up? All right. Please rise and sing with us. Woke up this morning. A one, a two,
David Joyce, good to have you in the house. Good morning, CSL Simi Valley, a center for spiritual living. Wow, so much is going on. First off, it's a new month. Welcome to the month of love. Great to have that happening. We entered into the season for nonviolence on the 4th, so we're going to celebrate that this month, and it's Black History Month. So February is a busy, lots of stuff happening. So let's love black people for nonviolence. Yeah, okay. So we'll do some of that kind of stuff. Oh, thank you, Deborah, for lighting the peace candle this morning. Yeah, take your time. Peace is going to be around for a long time. Like, we want it to be around forever, don't we? Speaking of being a center for spiritual living, it's not just our Sunday stuff. It's not just our Wednesday service. We want to actually be that. We want to be a center of spiritual living. Like you go to the community center to play games and get free meals and learn about whatever you can do in the community, to see Gregory, who's cooking in the kitchen. Gregory Seymour in a seat in the sanctuary. That is manifestation realized. We have been treating to get people up in the booth to work so he can come and sit here. How many years has it been since you've been able to sit like that?
Too many.
7, 8, 10?
Oh
My God, that's just, it's like a Supreme Court appointment. But fortunately, he did not have to die to come into the sanctuary. Whew, so glad for that. But as I was saying about being a center for spiritual living, so this is why we have Quiet Thursdays with John Bellis, so you can come and meditate on Thursday evenings, why we have sound baths on Friday the 3rd. Well, it's looking like it's going to be like maybe the first Friday. So that was, who was here? Was it wonderful or what? I mean, it was just a wave of vibrational energy to settle the spirit. And we had 33 people here. 34 people here. 34 people. We had 25 for our first one, so let's keep that going. We want to get it to a place where you have to like just step around the bodies to get, because they're just laying everywhere. It's really, really, really wonderful. So we want to celebrate that. And then we got some stuff coming up. The other thing that's really important for being a center of spiritual living is also learning about the techniques, the value of this kind of thinking, the way the center, religious science or science of mind works in your life, you know. we sort of have, we're kind of like the month of February, like Black History Month and nonviolence or peace and love. We are the Center for Spiritual Living, practicing the philosophy called the science of mind as religious scientists. So we have a lot of different names. And the way you find out about that kind of stuff is to come to our discovery class, which is going to be on the 26th. Not only will you find out more about our teaching and about how we work here, but you'll also become a member, a governing member, which means you get to vote on the policies that take place here at the center, because after all, it's our place, you know, it belongs to all of us. And so part of that belonging is to participate as a member. And you get 6-month free Science of Mind magazine when you become a member. How about that? 6 months free. So come on out for the 12th of Discovery class at 12:30. All right, so that's just some of the ways that we practice our vision and mission statement. How wonderful it was to have Dr. Dorianne and Dr. Jim here last week. Dorianne, who helped us create this mission statement that we say together each Sunday, and let's say it right now, which is, we're community, inclusive, loving, and authentic. We celebrate all paths to God in gratitude, empowering self and others. We serve compassionately through outreach, inspiration, and education. That's who we are. That's why we're here. And here's what we do. We put the batteries in. I know, when I used to do this, when I first came to LA, some of you know I was a weathercaster, and in Texas they don't have unions. And everybody has to chip in and do what they have to do. Well, in LA they do have unions, and so when I picked up a battery and put it in my microphone, oh my God. There's actually a grievance filed against me for that. And it was explained to me that I was taking somebody's job. I was like, oh, I just wanted to help. I just want to help.
Well, you helped me.
There you go.
I was running all around back there. Where's the microphone?
You're ready.
I'm ready. You found it. Good morning. Let's join in consciousness right now. Knowing there's only one power, one presence, one divine essence, one love, one peace. And it is in and through all creation, and it is right here within each one of us. So knowing that, we move into this service this morning with joy, with love in our hearts, love for this community that reaches far beyond this sanctuary, out into the ethers of the internet, and beyond the flowing over the globe. For this is the peace that passes all understanding. So knowing that, I am so grateful this morning to be here, to know that this service is blessed. We're so grateful for David Joyce joining the band this morning. We thank the service team for preparing us to be right here, right now. Knowing that Reverend Stephen is the heart of the center, the love, the humor, the wisdom. So in knowing all that, all we need to do is relax in the presence, in the gratitude, and know all together we say, and so it is.
Let's sing together. Thank you for standing.
How can I serve today, sweet spirit? How can I serve today, oh Lord? Speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow.
we are holding a space for our Cosmic Kid program to expand and grow those sweet young spirits to get this teaching of the science of mind. And we're all holding that intention for it to expand and to just be a populated, great program in the spirit of Dr. Susan, who helped create a wonderful Cosmic Kid program. In the process of, oh yeah, and she's watching. She watches every week. So,
Morning, Dr. Susan.
yeah, scream it out loud. Let her hear. I talked to her yesterday. She said she would be watching, so I know she's watching. And but in the meantime, we're also doing some of our due diligence around our Cosmic Kids, Guardians of the Galaxy, so we can make sure that they're all up to state standard before we bring the program back. And so we expect that to happen the first Sunday in March. I'm calling it out, making that our intention, okay? All right, Nancy, do you want to move up with the reading? Thank you. Affirmation?
I'll read the affirmation and then I'll ask you to join me. Resting in my why, knowing my divine purpose, I find my what, when, where, and how more easily and more satisfying too. Together? Resting in my why, knowing my divine purpose, I find my what, when, where, and how more easily and more satisfying too. I can't wait to find out about this topic. Why? I have a reading today from my little book of happy. I'm back to the book. It is Cultivate a Sense of Purpose. If you are someone who feels you are not on purpose with your life, do something about it. Make yourself happier. Living on purpose gives your life meaning. Some people walk through their lives half asleep, dreaming of the past, worrying about the future, missing the opportunities in each moment to be alert and aware and in tune with what they believe is their destiny. When you wake up to your life and follow your passion, you feel intensely alive. That sense of vitality translates to better health and well-being. Your self-esteem is strengthened, and you have increased resilience in the face of challenges and difficulties. Create a space in your home or workplace where you can retreat from the world. Go there often to sit. Use a pillow, yoga mat, or chair. We know how to do this. In an unhurried silence, let tranquility wash over you. Listen deeply to inner guidance, intuition, thoughts relayed from your higher self. Meditate on whatever it is you are meant to do and be. Spend time in your space to creatively imagine your purposeful life. So it is. And now, David Joyce. All right.
Thank you. This song is called Are You Listening? And it also says, Can you hear me? And it's somewhat of a conversation between ourselves and our spirit. Sometimes it's between ourselves and our loved ones. And sometimes it's just a matter of really taking this time to listen, taking the space. Words are spoken, do they fall on deaf ears? Promises broken, does no one hear your tears? My heart is beating, it's keeping time with yours.
listening deep within. Let's go into that gap, God awareness place for 3 minutes. And I'll take us in with a ring of the bell, and David Joyce will bring us out in 3 minutes. Thank you for joining in this beautiful 3 minutes. Thank you, David, for bringing us out. When I say we, I hear my mother. The royal we encourage you at this center to meditate, even 3 minutes a day. I know we can do it this year. And we meditated 20 minutes before service today, and it was beautiful. So if you want a little longer meditation, come a little earlier, and we're here. Thank you.
All right, we're going to kick it up just a little bit. I hope that's okay. We'll pull us out of that spiritual, beautiful, peaceful place, because I don't know exactly how or when or where, but I do know that we're all going to reach the higher ground. Put your hands together. Now, I think we're going to talk about here. 'Cause I'm so darn ready, let me try it again. 'Cause my last time on earth, I made the whole world a sin. So glad that I do more than I did. Keep on trying till I reach the highest ground. Yeah, that's it. I like the people pointing up. It's right here, huh? Teachers. Bring you down, and let me try to bring you down, because they get lost, they get confused, and they're not living in a tune with spirit like you are. God's gonna show us the higher ground. He's the only friend you have around, except for all the people in this room, and all the people that you love, and everybody who doesn't even know that you're your friend yet. Here we go, come on. Till I reach the highest ground. Sing with me. Gonna keep on trying till I reach the highest ground.
David Joyce taking us to the higher ground. I love it. I love it. Ah, beautiful. Why? Why? Exactly. Why not? So we're going to actually, I guess you figured it out. We're going to talk about why. We'll talk about that journey. And one of the reasons why, we're going to talk about why, is just I was like a why Scrooge. So we'll talk about how that change took place. But in looking at why, I thought I would turn to one of my favorite friends for research, other than Dr. Holmes, and that is Dr. Google. And I was surprised that why is very popular. it's like the #1 search. And there are 1,000, it came up with the top 1,000 searches for the question, why? I thought, let's share that. So the first one, I probably should use, because I'm using paper, so I should use glass, or in this case, plastic. Okay, the #1 why question, asked 2 million times and worth 42 cents in click rate advertising cost. Because everything's been capital. I mean, that's, you think science of mind has got to grow. One religion that does not have to grow is capitalism and consumerism. They are huge, man, huge. But anyway, so the #1, why is there a leap year? I know, it's like, that doesn't, But here, now, what I did find interesting was this money thing. Because that is the most frequent, like 2 million people hit Google that a day around the world. I don't know. Like, why would they do that? Exactly. But because they do it, it's so popular, if you're an advertiser, you can pay 42 cents to Google, and they will put your ad on the why page of that question, right? So that's where that comes from. Now, the second one is my favorite question. Why is the sky blue? That's the question I used to drive my dad nuts over all the time. Dad, why is the sky blue? Why is the sky blue? And now, I guess because I got to be a weatherman, I figured it out. And it's because blue is the shortest wavelength, and therefore it gets scattered the most as it goes through the atmosphere, and the sky ends up being blue. Isn't that cool? Did I get that right, Deb? I got my science teacher right here in the front row, so I knew I had to research that one out. Okay, now this was interesting. #6, which is also number 8 on the list. Why are cats afraid of cucumbers? Why are cats afraid of cucumbers? My question now is, how many of you are going to go out after service and have a cat and buy a cucumber? And my next question is, why would you do that to your cat, since you know now that cats are afraid of cucumbers? I really enjoyed #10.
Oh, wait, what's the answer?
I have no. Well, the answer to that is that apparently cucumbers they kind of look snakish. And cats don't like snakes. And so if you sneak up with a cucumber and your cat turns around and sees just a flash of it, oh my God, snake, and it runs. That's that. Hey, don't blame me. Google. I'm just passing it on. Don't shoot the messenger here. #10, again, don't shoot the messenger. Why did I get married? By the way, that's worth 59 cents on advertising to get on that page. Now, #4, I had to like, I'm not even sure I want to share #4, because like, why? Why is my poop green? What? What? Now, here's interesting though. If you want to know the answer to that, talk to Deb after service. I'm not talking about it. But interesting, what Google said about that is that apparently, because it's just personal, you can Google and nobody knows what you're Googling. So people, why would you? Not something like doctor. I really want to. That's not something you're going to ask your doctor even. But you could ask Google, because Google won't tell anybody until I tell everybody that Google told. Right? Yeah. Now here's the other one I had. Why were there only 986 questions in the top 1,000 list? That just that bothered me the rest of the day. But why is funny? Why is fun? Why offers us these ways to learn things? But most importantly, it offers us ways to learn things about ourselves, to learn things about our world, to learn things about others, and to take those things into our own being so that we can do something different. We answer that call to why. It can be a powerful moment of shift in our lives. Now, sometimes that question comes from the sheer joy that we had in some of those questions we just shared. But there's also that painful moment of, why is this happening? Why do we continue to see things like Monterey Park last month, or earlier in this month? Why do we continue to see things like what happened in Palestine just yesterday? Why do we continue to see the kind of degradation of our planet the way it goes on? These kind of whys can be very important and can lead to our own particular why. Now, I mentioned that I was a why Scrooge, because I used to think that why was kind of a useless answer. Once I know why, then what? What's really important to me for a long time was what and who and where and how and how, when can we get these things done, right? But the other thing about why that shifted for me was a comedian named Michael Jr. about 6 years ago, I ran across a video of his, and he was talking about knowing your why. And in this video, you can Google it later. It's really a fun thing to watch. He's talking about this, and he asked a guy, he asked, who in here can sing? And a person raised their hand. And he said, sing something for me. Sing Amazing Grace. And this guy started singing Amazing Grace. And it was pretty amazing. It was pretty good. And he says, that's good. Now I'm going to give you the why for singing this song. Now, here's your why. Why are you singing Amazing Grace today is because your uncle just got out of prison, and it's his first day of freedom after being locked up wrongly, unjustly, right? And so the guy began to sing then, and it was like amazing. He was just like, Amazing Grace, and the whole room was just blowing up, because his point was because he knew his why. He knew his purpose. When we know the why that is our purpose, our life can really change. And that changed my impression of what why was, because I was all about the 2-year-old why. But the deeper, why am I here? What is my reason for being? Why am I here to connect? Why am I here to make a difference? That's powerful. Donald Curtis, some of you may have even studied with Donald Curtis. He says there's daily power, in his book called Daily Power for Joyful Living, he says that there is no limit to the things we can discover about ourselves. There is no limit to the things we can discover about ourselves, especially so when we begin to understand our why. Because then we can escape our comfort zone. Now, if you're going to escape your comfort zone, in that phrase right there is, oh my God, it's my comfort zone, I'm going to leave that place. I don't want that. But if you're chasing your deepest why, you can find some hope and comfort outside the comfort zone, outside of your habitual way of being. You know that there's something deeper taking place because we know that we are connected to that divine space that helps us to empower our lives, especially when we get down to the basic, deeper why of our existence. And, they've done some scientific studies, some amazing experiments about why. There was this one that I really loved about people going to the bank. There was these researchers who I think I've talked about this before, that people are standing in line at the bank, and how researchers do, they got the control group and the study group and the blah, blah, boom. So the one person would come in and say, hey, can I get in front of you? And people are like, no. And they walk off. In another bank, the guy would come and says, excuse me, can I get in front of you? Because I have to go to the doctor, and the appointment is like in 15 minutes, and I need to pay in cash, and I got to get some money. People say, oh, okay, and they'd let him in front. And the third group would go up to somebody and say, I need to get in front of you because I really do, just because. And they would, just because, would let people get in front of the line. When people understood the why, they were like opened up. When we understand our why, other people open up. And that's a really great experience around it, right? So knowing our why eases our fears and eases other people's fears. It eases that space of the unknown, allows us to move into that space of the unknown with more careful considerations. Maybe think of that quote from Annis Nin, the day that the risk the day the risk to remain tight in the bloom became more intense than the risk to bloom is the day that I bloomed, or something like that. Well, since I knew that I was going to blow it, I actually wrote it down and looked it up because I wanted to get more into it and understand it deeper. And it actually goes this: and the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more powerful than the risk it took to blossom. That's the quote that you hear so often. But then it goes on. It says, life is a process of becoming, a combination of states we have to go through. Where people fail is that they wish to elect a state and remain in it. This is a kind of death. Living never wore one out so much as the effort not to live. Wow. When we're not, Google it, when we're not living our deepest why, we're actually exercising the effort not to live. You wonder why you have to go to the doctor and get something to help you sleep at night while you're buying melatonin so you can go to bed at night, when you really should just be meditating and getting off your screen like an hour before you go to bed. But hey, I'm not your doctor. But when we're going through all of these things, it might be an indication the stressors that we're having, the high blood pressure, the whatever it might be, hypertension, whatever it might be, these might be indications that we're not living our truest, deepest why, you see. We deserve to not be that way. And when our desire to not live that way is stronger than our fear, we are compelled to ask and to know our deeper why. We're asked to find out why. Why are you allowing your why to hold you back? And if you're feeling held back by anything, ask the question again. State back into it. Blend your life into that deeper inner calling so that your inner call and your outer reality become one. You get into a space of alignment. The result of doing that is that we begin to live our lives with less stress. We begin to live our lives with less conflict. We begin to see through the confusion of the day-to-day activities and find more joy and harmony and successes in that experience of living. And it's simply from that easy space of knowing your why. Pema Chodron says that we can learn to meet whatever arises with curiosity and not make it such a big deal. Instead of struggling against the force of confusion, we could meet it and relax. So we're really talking about here, why is literally the question that underlines curiosity. Can we be curious? Can we remain in that state of wanting to know and asking the deeper questions, which becomes a little bit challenging until you remember something very important. And that's what's so powerful about the science of mind, is that we are one in God. You see, there's no, even this morning, I had an experience doing my morning prayers, and part of my treatments in the morning is to be a vehicle of expression for each and every one of us here today, including myself. You know, to not be me trying to tell you something, but to be that divine presence unfolding through me, be a vessel, right? And as I was having that prayer moment this morning, I realized, wow, I'm having this thing, but I'm feeling this sense of separation, like I'm talking to God to do something for me, but I am an expression of the divine that lives within me. It's not that. I need to like smash my inner and my outer into that space and then be in that place. That's what our call, that's our deepest remembrance, is to remember that we are one. And that when we are in a space of fear or unknowing, to realize that God is as and of us. It's all, it's this, and words and the duality of the human experience, even merely having two ears and the beauty of stereo sound, also creates stereo thinking, that there's this and there's that, but this and that is just this all smashed together. And we can really understand that when we get to that space. Asking the why question and finding the why answer becomes that much more powerful for you. It sets us up for the change when we can remain curious to open the door to the threshold that leads to our next becoming, our next greater yet to be. This is why I talked about the comfort zone a minute ago. All of this I'm talking about can be some scary stuff, and you just want to remain tight in the bud and not risk blooming, because you already know. We know. I mean, sometimes we take the same road because we're kind of like, I don't know what's on that road over there. But I know this way. I don't have to ask GPS to take me anywhere. I could take myself that way. But sometimes it might be nice to turn off the GPS and take a different road, the path less traveled, that we've never traveled before. And that's just the way we are. I mean, change in that way that I'm talking about can clear up some of the debris of our lives. It can move us forward. And it's actually the nature of life. We all know that the one thing that's going to change, the one constant, what is it?
Change.
That's right. It's going to happen. So when we can align ourselves with that divine presence, as I was talking about a minute ago, and partner with the divine, then we understand, as David told us in that closing of the prayer song this morning, anything's possible. Anything's possible when we are aligned with the divine. We tap into a font of knowledge that is beyond our limited comprehension in the time-space continuum that is called life here on earth. But there's something deeper we're connected to, a deeper wisdom. And that deeper wisdom is sometimes messaged to us through asking this question is, what is my why? What is my why? And when we use Spirit's revitalizing, rejuvenating power, it comes to us in a flash or in a gradual moment, or sometimes it's not even on us. Yesterday, I actually was brought to tears a couple times because they had the celebration service for P22. and Beth Pratt, or Platt, was her name, and she saw P22, and it touched her so that she committed her life to supporting the life of this mountain lion living in Griffith Park. And now, as a result of her work and the work of others that she's brought into play, they're going to be opening up the Annenberg corridor over the 101 freeway. Yesterday, they raised $150 million to build more corridors around the state of California and around the country. This has become something that started from, and she didn't know that was her why. Sometimes your why comes to you in a way that you're not. She just like, is that a mountain lion? There was another lady there who was a muralist, and she was in a backyard somewhere, and she saw what she thought was the tail of a furry dog, and she touched it, and it turned around, and it was P22. And she was like, oh my God. And he just looked at her long enough for her to go in the house, and then, like a crazy person, she came outside with her camera and took a picture, and P22 stayed there for it. And she turned that picture into a mural, and she became this big mural artist. Sometimes our why comes in a frightening moment, and sometimes it comes in that moment of sublime, quiet asking. What we need to do is to give free passage for that divine wisdom to flow through us, to flow in us, to flow around us, to become a part of us, so that we become a part of it. In Richer Living, Dr. Holmes and Dr. Barker got together, wrote this book, and it says that we are ever renewed by the passage of divine light through our consciousness. Are you ready to be renewed? Let the divine light come through you. This is why we talk about meditation, talk about classes, talk about sitting with practitioners, why we practice this teaching, because we want to open ourselves up to this. If you feel life is good right now, think about how much better it can become when you let this divine light come through you. And when I talk about better, I'm not saying that it's going to be unicorns and rainbows all the time. Surely, in Beth's journey, it was very hard and challenging to shift her whole life to try and raise all this money and go to people and stay up late. And this woman who almost risked her life to take a picture of a cougar. I mean, it's not always going to be easy, but it's going to be a divine light, a renewing experience where you wake up rejuvenated and invigorated. Like, yeah, this is the day. I'm going to carpe diem. I'm going to do it, you know? That's what we're talking about. Can you let that light come through you and live your why? And it starts in living in a space of awe, just this wonder and grandeur for everything. This morning, David went through it, Elizabeth went through it, those of us who came through the Cahuenga Pass. I'm still thinking about P22 because that was the Cahuenga Pass thing. But they came through the Santa Susana Pass. At Rocky Peak, we had that hazmat thing and had to slow down for it. And as a result of getting stuck behind that, I got to slow down a little bit, and I could just see the dance of the clouds kind of touching the Santa Susanas and then drifting out off of the valley. You could see all the way down to the Santa Monicas, and they were just undulating. I was like, oh, it is so beautiful. Even the traffic moment can offer the opportunity to step into this grandeur moment and ask, just why is it so gorgeous? Even the foam on the latte that you get, you're just like, oh, that's just amazing. You can find it any kind of where. We can see it in all the things that we see and that we do. It's available to us all the time. That's the wonder. That's the spark that begins to ask the question that gets answered by the soul space within you that gets renewed in this process. And the soul is really what we are. It's what you are. It's what I am. We are a soul experience of spirit manifesting in a physical form in this place right here and now. And if you don't like the way it's working for you, change it. It's up to you. Speak your word. Instruct the divine law to have you in a space where you get to do better, where you get to live differently. You know, back to this guy, Michael Jr. I've become a Michael Jr. disciple now. I love his videos. And another one he talks about is how you have to give to get. See, he's a comedian, right? And so he was going to a show, and he was talking about how he was going to go out there and get some laughs. And something happened, hit this shift, where he went, wait a minute, no, I'm going to go out and I'm going to give people an opportunity to laugh. I'm just going to give myself to this audience and see what happens. And it was an amazing show, so he says. And then afterwards he came out, and it was a comedy club that he had played before. He'd been playing this club many times. And after this particular one, he's signing autographs, and he noticed a person experiencing homelessness sitting across the street. And first he tried to ignore him, but he kept being drawn to him. And he says that something shifted in him because he had this new thing where he was thinking, what can I give? And next thing he knows, he's like on Skid Row doing comedy shows to people at Skid Row. And now he's in prisons doing comedy shows at prisons. And people are loving it. Or sometimes they're not. Like he goes to this one prison, he's telling these jokes, and he's wondering how some of the people aren't laughing about the jokes. Well, he's telling jokes about Google and iPhones and stuff, so there's people in the prison who are having to explain to other people in the prison what an iPhone is, because they've been there a long time. So it's a little bit of a shift for him, but the idea was that he was back to giving. So when asking this thing, this routine is taking us back to why. When asking what is our why, sometimes also involved in that is asking ourselves, what is mine to give? What am I here to give? Not what am I here to get? It's not to do, you're not shifting your why to get something more in life. I said, if you want to live better, have more fun, have more joy, yes. But to do that, it might call you forth to give of yourself more. In another Michael Jr. video, I tell you, man, between YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, I get scroll fever, But in this other one, he talks about being on stage and seeing a woman who didn't seem like she was connecting with the show. She was kind of looking off, and then he noticed what she was looking at was the sign person signing the show. But she didn't look happy, and something called him to bring this person up on stage. And so he brought the person up on stage and instructed the sign person to ask the person, what do you want? What can we give to you? What would you like to have given to you? And she said what she would really like to have is a vacation. She signed to the person back there. She really wanted to have a vacation. And her and her husband had not been able to take a vacation for 11 years because they had a child with special needs, and they had to take care of that child. They didn't have enough money to pay somebody to stay with the child while they went on vacation. And in that moment, he thought, well, okay, we'll pass the basket and we'll raise some money and get some money so you can get a... But then something else came up, and he says, no, this is an opportunity to give and to allow someone else to give. So he asked out, who here is a special needs nurse that can allow them to go on vacation? And somebody from the back of the room says, here I am. And the person turned out to live like 20 minutes or 30 minutes away from this person. And so they were able to do the thing and give so they could go on the vacation, you see. Donald Curtis, in his book on Joy Living, says that we give others the freedom of expressing their purpose in life. We are discovering ourselves in them, thereby gaining that which we free. So when we give ourselves, when we decide to give ourselves, somebody else gets to say, here I am, I'm here ready to serve, and they get to serve. And now we have returned it and given away the very thing that we are trying to let be free. So our asking our why carries a reciprocal effect. It carries this connective effect. It's the expression of the divine showing up in all of our lives. And we get to do that. We get to be that for each other. This time of the rugged individual, dead, not happening. It was a fallacy. It was a myth that does not need to be respoken. But this thing of what can I give so that others can give their freedom, their joy, their peace, that's where we are now. See, and that's why our why is tied to our purpose. So we are actually the shoestring that bonds that together, that brings that together. See, I know that I give meaning to my life. You give meaning to your life. I give purpose to my life. You give purpose to your life by knowing what is this why that is sitting inside of you. So try this on. Say this with me. I'll say it, you follow. I am the one who brings meaning to everything I do or see. I'm going to say it one more time. Take a breath and then say it again. I am the one who brings meaning to everything I do or see.
I am the one who brings meaning to everything I do or see.
I give purpose to all my tasks.
I give purpose to all my tasks.
These kind of affirmations empower you to bring the deeper why. By knowing your why, you're learning your own individual secret to life. Your own secret to life. Carolyn May says that we decide by choice that we will do a task with all our hearts, or not. Or not. I was given a wonderful book recently. It's called Devotions, Wisdom from the Cradle of Civilization. Quotes from ancient teachers and current philosophers from Morocco to Afghanistan and China. That whole cradle, that little piece across the Mediterranean all the way out into Central Asia. And one of the people they feature frequently is Gilio Gibran. And he wrote this that I just was so touched. I want to close with this morning. He writes, "Go to your fields and your gardens, and you shall learn that it is the pleasure of the bee to gather honey of the flower. But it is also the pleasure of the flower to yield its honey to the bee. For to the bee a flower is a fountain of life, and to the flower a bee is a messenger of love. And to both bee and flower, the giving and receiving of pleasure is a need and an ecstasy." I'll do it one more time because it's always nice to hear it twice. "Go to your fields and your gardens, and you shall learn that it is the pleasure of the bee to gather honey of the flower. But it is also the pleasure of the flower to yield its honey to the bee. For to the bee a flower is a fountain of life, and to the flower a bee is a messenger of love. And to both bee and flower, the giving and receiving is a pleasure, and to the bee and the flower, the giving and receiving of pleasure is a need and an ecstasy." What comes to me is that we are both. We are the flowers, we are the fountains of life, and we are the bee. We are the messengers of love, especially when we know our why. And so it is. Thank you. That's today's affirmation. I want to go to that island. Contemplate my why. Right there. Resting in my why, knowing my divine purpose, I find my what, when, where, and how more easily and more satisfying too. All right, let's do a little prayer time. Revealing prayer. As I say that, I'm still sitting in the divine moment of having Jim and Dorian up here last week. That was lovely. And Maureen in the house, yes. All right, so take a moment. We've been talking about that why. Perhaps for some of you, a question may have arisen, or maybe a desire, an intention, or maybe even more of a question mark. But let whatever it is come to the surface right now as we recognize this truth. That I know there is a divine presence, an infinite intelligence, a wonderful somethingness that grows out of that great beyond of which we are a part. And I dive into that space in a unified experience of knowing that I am the one, and the one that is I is the one that is you. For we are all connected in this thing through time and space into eternity and back again. So as I stand in this moment and call forth the power of the presence that is within me, I know that there is an answer to my why. I know there is a power that allows me to step into the full awareness of all that is necessary to bring that why into existence. And so I allow that to move through me now. And I know that what moves through me moves through each and every one of you, that same process is taking place, allowing the good to unfold in a myriad of ways, untold in the group, but specifically told to each and every one of us. Therefore, when I say I know that you know. Therefore, when I say I have power, I know that you have power. Therefore, when I say I have the energy to make it happen, I know that you have the energy to make it happen. And for that, I'm so grateful that we listen to the call, answer the prayer, and step into our greater yet to be, so that it is no longer a yet to be, but it is a being, it is a becoming that has became, completing the cycle so that it can begin again. As I stand in this space of gratitude and know that there is a divine presence that has listened to this word, that has felt your intentions and your impressions through the infinite space that we call time, and allows it to come into this space and this place as an active activity, I let it go to that mind that makes it happen through us, as us, with us, affirming it with these words, and so it is. What are you sneaking over here for? What are you doing? Come on up here. Come with me. No, come on. I can do this. I can talk while you walk over there. What's he doing? What is he doing? All right, so here's what here we are. We are at the visiting to the website to support our spiritual community, and you know we definitely need to do that. It dawned on me. How many of you guys got your gas bills recently? Oh my God, right? Well, we just got our heat back. And it's powered by gas. A bill we haven't paid for like 7 years because we haven't had heaters in here. Just saying. Just saying. Give to 805-600-5677 or call the office for your gift. I mean, we're going to be fine, but, you know, let's build some reserves. I really want us to be able to step into this vision that we have for this year of being the 23 We're Community and doing things beyond Samaritan Center dinners, which are great that we do, but there's so much more that we can do. And we have the B. Thompson Award that we get to give. Look, Darlene just turned off the heat. It reminds me of my mother, you know. Turn off that light. Are you in the room? Turn the light off. Oh, my God. I got to figure out how to stay focused. But I tell you what, it really is on my heart that you know, we just do these amazing things as this community. We're a small community, but you know, I'm on a lot of committees, Regeneration and the Cedar Ridge and what's that other one? Archives, thank you. And Jeff's on a lot of committees. He knows and he hears about this. People know who we are. In the 500 centers that are around the world, people know who this little place is because of what we are already doing. Let's jump out there. We can be more impressive and more impactful than Mile High. So what if they have 15,000 members? Who cares? We got Simi Valley, you know. We got Rocky Peak. We got some stuff happening. We got the junkyard. And we got an affirmation. Let's do that. Happy Hill. Here we go. Yeah, Happy Hill. Okay, divine love. It's doing its perfect work here and now. Divine love harmonizes. Divine love adjusts. Divine love prospers. Divine love foresees everything and richly provides every good thing for Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley, now and the world, now. Divine love is victorious. Guess I should. Oh, yeah, calendar events. There's a lot of stuff coming up. Check out all this stuff that's happening here. Happy birthday, February, people.
because we are love expressing as everything. We are community expressing through this means we call money. And we know there are infinite sources flowing in and through this center. And we are so grateful. We are so grateful for this center, so grateful for each one of us, so grateful for the work that goes forth. And we let it be so. And today we say, and so it is.
David Joyce. Is this thing on? Hello. What's that? I could be on any of these. Any of these work? This one? Is this thing on? Hello? No. It's an old joke. We don't know. One of these? Let's do that. Yeah. We got one. All right. So, what I heard today, I don't know about you, but I heard there's no limits to what we can discover in ourselves. I heard if we got confusion, we can be curious and relax. Carpe diem. What am I here to give? Giving and receiving equals the need and the ecstasy. So I kind of put in the affirmation, so kind of put something together for us here so we get to affirm these things and sing them together, shall we? Yes. So let's all sing this together. We'll go, resting in the knowing my divine purpose, resting in the knowing my divine purpose, resting in the knowing my divine purpose, resting in the knowing my divine purpose. How about this? What, when, why, and how? What, when, why, and how? What, when, why, and how? Got that? What, when, why, and how? I am curious and I relax. 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 Keep going on. I am curious and I relax. I am curious and I relax. I am curious and I relax. Keep going. You guys are going to do what, when, why, and why, and how, right? What, when, why, and how? What, when, I, and how? What, when, why, and how? What, when, why, and how? I am curious and I relax. I am curious and I relax. Let's do the other one. Resting in the knowing my divine purpose. Sorry. Resting in the knowing my divine purpose. Resting in the knowing my divine purpose. Let's stand and sing these. Let's affirm this. The divine purpose. What, when, let's stand. Why and how? What, when, divine purpose. I am curious and I relax. I am curious. Keep singing your part, but listen to how we've created something together. And they're all ours. They're all ours. Somebody is affirming something for you, you're affirming for them. We're giving and receiving. My divine purpose, resting in the... We have some answers now. I am curious and I relax. I am curious and I relax. Nice. Thank you, Stephen.
That was amazing. Wow. That's pretty cool. I love that. Yeah, you guys are great music songwriters. Well, thank you, David Joyce, for turning us into a choir today.
I knew we needed that. We needed
Huh?
that.
Yeah. That was lovely. That was lovely. And to the rest of the Soul Purpose Band, Bob and Randy and Steve, thanks so much. And Lane, representing the L's today. That first song you did, that was so sweet. Your combination, that was lovely. Yeah, thank you so much for that, right? Kathy's leading our service team this morning, along with support with Linda Romano and Marianne McCauley, who was at the church, and you've come back to the church. Where are you? Oh, you're in this corner. You've left the church, you come back to the church. You were here like 1 week and already jumped on a service team. I love that. Deborah Owen doing the stage today. Okay, John and Colin are managing the booth today. They're teaming up there. Fantastic. We love that. Allowing Greg to sit in the sanctuary for today. Man, that's so exciting. Thank you, Dominic, on your slides. Wonderful job. Glad you guys made it through the traffic this morning. Blessings to Nancy doing our practitioner work for the day. Nancy, you want to come up for a minute? And then Costa will be working in the office after service.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So, other practitioners here today? Who else is here?
I might be it. You and me. You and me.
We have Reverend Larry here.
Yes?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. You didn't know he was a reverend, did you? Do you know this guy? Yeah, he's fantastic. And you've got a book that you've written out, too. You should bring copies of your book we could put into our lending library, okay?
Just happen to have the trunk of a car.
I love that. Ask and we shall receive. See how that works? That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay. And then we're going to talk about the class coming up.
Yeah.
What about it?
Reverend Stephen is teaching the power of decision. Is that correct?
Yes, power.
Decisions.
Powering your decisions.
Oh, powering your decisions. And I'm signing up. Who else is signing up? Woo! Look, I see lots of hands. Marlene is signing up.
All right. That's wonderful. Come on out. We have fun.
Reverend Stephen is an amazing teacher. And he's everything you see here and more, and more. It's just so wonderful. So I would encourage any and everyone to come out. So, and I will be at the exit sign, not so you can exit, so that you can come into the practitioner room with me, and we will pray.
Lovely.
Yeah, and I think, and John Bellis has meditation on
that's
Thursday
right.
nights. At what time? 7? 7 o'clock.
Quiet Thursdays with John.
Quiet Thursdays with John.
Now, I've heard, I haven't been able to make it yet, but I've heard that Quiet John can be quite talkative on Thursdays. I love that we called it Quiet Thursdays and we found his voice in doing so. But it's wonderful to have you do it. It's amazing. It's right. It's a demonstration showing up. Come on out.
So I think that...
I think that covers us.
I think it covers
Let's
us.
all stand during our closing benediction, and we'll... Oh, wait. No. Sit back down a minute.
Jen, is Jen...
Do you feel like... Okay, recovering Catholics, I'm sorry to do that to you. The up, the down, the up, the down. I'd like to ask Dale and Jen to come up for a
yes,
minute.
Please.
Yeah. Thank you, Jan. Thanks for the reminder.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Hey, microphone.
Oh, thank you. Come on up. We can do this together, just like next Saturday. As you saw on the slides, and I'll be sending out emails as well, we are having our first shared meeting. Me too low, my gosh. We're having our first shared meeting with a fabulous topic. They'll let Dale explain a little bit more to you. But I did want to put out a reminder for those of you here today for Sacred Sisters that the meeting time will be 9:30, not 10:30, 9:30. It will be here in the sanctuary, and unfortunately, this will not be a hybrid event. So if you generally tune in online, please, let's see how we can arrange to get you here to share in our wonderful get-together and our meeting and our topic. Any questions? You guys know how to reach me. I'm there. And with that, I'm going to turn the mic over to Dale.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
the why was perfect today. Because the art of communication, men and women, taking science of mind principles and trying to apply it to our individual lives, I call it the execution part of this whole belief system, to put it out there. And however we identify ourselves, we're 50-50. There's a whole another 50% of the population out there that if we're attempting to understand how we all tick, if you will, and how we can relate to each other, and that's part of that same principle of relating to each other one-on-one in a safe, supportive group, we can expound into the rest of society as we do that. And I think the power of it is understanding, because many books have come out and said, men and women, we speak different languages. So let's translate.
I love it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dale. Thank you so much.
Saturday, everyone.
Saturday, 9:30, right here. And if you need help with ride or anything like that, Sacred Sisters can bond together and help you get here. Okay. That's it. Now we get to stand up and do our closing benediction. I'm at home in the heart of God. My life is anchored in truth. I can never be separate. I live in the consciousness of peace. I release all fear. I am living love. Let's sing.
Higher ground. guys are awesome. That was great. Thank you. Really fun. I think we got a box with dirty Kleenexes. That's what that must be. Just occurred to me, why would you have an empty box there? Ah, that's it. All right. Sound man, drummer, tempo, you know, you just kind of do it. Aw, shucks, right?
Well,
That's great.
hey, we're trying to make a move to go stereo.
Yeah?
Can you believe that?
Oh, that'd be fun.
Step into the 19th century.
Hey.
Yeah, oh yeah, we're only grabbing one channel. We've got a Y on one of these. We've got a Y here, so that one of those is
Well, and the amplifier looks like it's stereo, huh?
yeah. And the keyboard stereo. And
So what's the deal?
I think we should go quadraphonic.
So what's the deal? Why, if they have a stereo amp, stereo out, where's it going mono?
It's there's only one wire around to the doohickey back there. We're stereo in the house, but we're not stereo to the Facebook feed. So we got to run another cable back there.
Although I think that Facebook, I'm not sure, does it transmit? It transmits in stereo, it doesn't record in stereo, is that what it is? Something like that.
It's going out over the YouTube thing too. How to listen to that. Yeah, we just gotta run another wire. Actually, need to ask John because there's a snake. Steve, you know where that is?
Not a big deal.
I saw the other end of it coiled up back there, the snake cable.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The other end of the snake.
That's, you know, I know that until there is another. Yeah, absolutely. It's great. Yes, we can do that. Yeah, that's what I hope to sometime. I did a workshop on that sort of thing over at Westlake one time. It was really